All right, everyone, welcome back to the fifth part of this Cleanse and Detox series and on the Being Healthy and Thrive podcast. My name is Brianna Wilkerson. I'm your host, holistic health and life coach and essential oils advocate. And joining me again for this last part is Hannah Parker, thyroid nutrition coach. We've made it. But we just wanted to end off this time talking about something that most people don't really think about when they're thinking about the physical health area, but that actually is the driving force around it. And that's your mindset and your habits, and then how that fuels into other areas of your life. And, I'll have Hannah share in a second, but just for me, I would say that, me and Hannah actually both said this, is the idea that with our health things that we were both struggling with at the time, we felt hopeless and we felt the struggle defined us and would always be a part of our identity. For me, I struggled with various eating disorders, whether it be anorexia or overeating, compulsion eating disorder, which is complete opposites, but for different points in time, that's the way that I tried to control whatever situation that was happening in my life. And I just remember feeling like life was never going to change, that I was always going to be stuck this way, always finding hope and then going down, and that and just feeling depressed from all those different areas, until I really started to see that through different situations that I had the ability to choose whether this was going to be my reality. And I could either try to find something to solve it and help it, or I could allow it to be my reality. And for me, it started with the holistic approach, actually really seeing that, like, if I was going to do this, I was going to do it the right way, care about my whole health and life, and do it for the long haul. And by changing my mindset, then I started to enjoy eating again. And I started to enjoy exercising. I started to enjoy all these things that are quote unquote healthy that I used to see as punishment. And I talk to some of my clients sometimes, and it hurts me now, but I so understand, because often we see healthy eating or taking care of ourselves as punishment for the way that we let loose, but that's not the case. And I just really want to encourage people that really understanding that our thoughts, our beliefs dictate our thoughts, will then dictate our actions, and then create the reality we're living in. And we can control some things, and most things that we say we can't, we actually can. And so I just really want to encourage people there, and to, really think about that one thought you have around your physical health, around cleansing and detoxing, that is driving you to make decisions, and just ask if that thought is serving you, if that thought is plunging you towards reaching your goals, or if it's holding you back. And often you'll find it may be holding you back. And I could talk a little bit about an exercise after that could help rewrite that thought, and then rewrite the habit. But I'll allow Hannah to share a little bit.
So good. I'm interested to hear what that is.
Yeah.
Along with that, yes, for sure. Like, I think for me, the big mindset shift that happened was just that feeling of being stuck. And like, I was dealing with autoimmunity and chronic eczema, like for over 20 years, that just got extremely bad all over my body in my early 20s. And I just thought that was it. Like that was going to be my life. Because that's what doctors had told me, like, that this is not curable. You can use this cream. And it was just hindering every area of my life. And I thought I was just going to have to cope with that. And so for me, when it's shifted to, wait a second, there is hope for this. Like there's things that I can do. There's things that I'm not just destined to whatever, like, genes I had in my body, or, whatever ailment I was being afflicted with at the time. Like, there's things that you can do. That hope piece is so big. And especially like women with thyroid disease that I work with as well, it's the same thing. Like, most of the people I work with have had thyroid disease for decades, and just assumed that was going to be the rest of their life. And these symptoms that they're dealing with is just like what they were going to have to cope with. So switching that to that hope piece. And if you can, I don't know the magic way to switch that, but I know that something switched in me when I realized that there was hope and there was something I could do. And I see it in my clients when it switches for them. So I don't know, when I get the answer of how to switch that, then I'll tell you, but I don't know what that is. I think that's for you. Each person has to figure out, I don't know the magic way to do that. But and if you're just waiting for someone to tell you, then I'll tell you there's hope for your chronic illness. Maybe that's all you needed was somebody else to tell you. So there's something you can do about it. And once you have that hope and you know that there's a way, then your actions can follow. And that's when you start seeing tangible results. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so good. And I would say the big thing around it is, whenever I talk about mindset and habits, is identifying that thought. And usually, so it's like, I'll give you an example. Say, I will always struggle with my weight. Like that thought is what we would call, in regards to mindset, a very fixed mindset, and it's a very limiting mindset. You're telling yourself things will never change. But when it comes to our health, what we really need to focus on, and we really need to think, is growth. And growth mindset is so much harder because it's about hope, right? It's about, it's okay. I'm going to just expect and have faith that this is going to get better and slowly work towards it. And sometimes it's so easy to doubt versus have hope in anything because it's safe.
It's automatic. Yeah, and safe.
You don't want to get your hopes up over something because that means you care. And if you let down, the disappointment. But I would say it's actually the safest thing is to try and actually grow, because you might actually experience that freedom that you want. And so identifying that thought. So say if the thought is, I will always struggle with my weight, rewriting it says, I'm on a journey to overcoming the struggle with my weight. It's a very progressive statement, and it acknowledges where you may be, but it acknowledges where you're going. And that simply is creating what we would call an affirmation. And that is just affirming a truth and affirming a positive growth mindset. And so far too often do we miss that. And the same thing applies to our business. We've had to write affirmations galore since we've started our business, but same thing applies to our health. And any goal that we're trying to go after and get results in is that we have the power to choose. And I've seen it in my life, especially my business this last year, when I've been in that mopey state and something clicks and I'm like, no, this is not right. This is not true. I make different decisions and I take different actions.
Yes.
And it always ends up, and it was all like, it was that easy, but yes, it is. Faith is the assurance of things we hope for and certainty of things we don't see yet. And it is the link, that growth mindset. And so I would just ask yourself, is your mindset holding you back? Are you really wrestling with a fixed mindset? If you've been struggling with something with thyroid for 20 years or weight loss for whatever amount of years, that really ask yourself, in this new year, in 2018, are you going to choose to allow that reality to define you, or are you going to rewrite it, right? And who's to say you might struggle with some things. Maybe there are things that you might just have, but how can you still have a thriving, healthy life, right? And that will then change your habits, but it starts with your mind.
Right.
Starts with your mind. And then we could just share, this whole podcast is all about being healthy and thrive in all areas of your life. I focus on 7 different areas of health: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, vocational, relational, because it all links in together. Hannah and I both went to Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and we did the Circle of Life, which just showed that, one primary food, what feeds us, is actually not just what's on our plate, but the idea of creativity, home environment, career, all these things add value to our life. And if we're truly honest, those things tend to satisfy our life more than our physical appearance. We need to care for it.
Yes.
But we should not idolize it or make it the only thing in our health. And, if you guys link in the link for this podcast, and all of it is like to sign up for updates to the podcast. And when you sign up for that, you get a free training, why it's more than about diet and exercise. And it's basically taking those 7 areas of health and the circle of life in one thing and helping you identify what areas you're satisfied and which ones you're not satisfied, because that's where you need to start making goals. And
yes.
Because when it comes to goals and results, we're actually going after what we want to feel, not if I lose 20 pounds, I'm going to feel good physically, but I'm going to feel really good mentally, you know?
Right.
And so I just really encourage people to, yes, sign up for that freebie and you can get access to that. But just in general, be honest with yourself right now and say, what's one area of my life other than maybe physical health that I really need to thrive in and I really need to work on? Because I'm telling you, when you start working on that, it's your physical health you're going to start working on too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but what about you, Hannah? What have you found to be, as you really also coach from a holistic point of view, to be something that's really important in that area for you and your clients?
Yes, I think for me, just the sense of having community, because I work with a lot of people who, especially when you have chronic illness, you can feel really isolated, and you literally don't feel well enough sometimes to leave your house. You don't feel like you have things to offer friendships or things to offer your community. And so, but that can just make the problem worse, because then you're lonely and then you feel like you're not contributing to relationships. And I mean, really, we just need each other, we need each other. So finding ways to get that community and investing in friendships just little by little. And I struggle with this. This is always something that I'm working on. Just like the work-life balance is a hard thing for me right now, especially starting a business, because it takes so much time. And this year especially, I have not invested in friendships in the way that I want to. And that's a huge goal of mine for 2018. So if you're a friend of mine, watch out, because I'm coming to you this year. Lots of coffee dates, but really that's, and I mean, for me, like, it can just take a quick chat with a friend to totally snap me out of a struggle that I'm dealing with, And so, finding ways to have friendships and have that, is something I always encourage my clients to do. And yes, so that, and outlets for creativity too, I think is huge. Mm-hmm. I think, if you feel like you're just going through your day doing your job, doing your responsibilities, that there can be joy in that, absolutely. But then I also think, like, what makes you happy? Like, what can you do? Create space for doing things that you really enjoy. And it doesn't have to be like, I'm going to take up knitting and do it 3 times. It can just be like, hey, like for me, it was like, I really enjoy, I don't know, can't even think of anything. That's really sad, but I do have things. I just can't think of something at the moment. But even like, I enjoy cooking dinner at night, and I wasn't taking time to do that because I was trying to like appeal to people that didn't enjoy that kind of. So I felt like I couldn't enjoy that because other people didn't enjoy that. And I realized, this is crazy. Like, I enjoy taking, 45 minutes in my evening to create a nice dinner. And so just finding ways to incorporate that into your life, and know that your life is more than just your responsibilities and taking care of your health. Like, that your health just fuels those other areas. It doesn't end with your health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, I totally agree on all of those things. Just like, I think to me, it's always kind of, I'm doing better in relational health, but it's always one that it's like, man, you need to grow in. But there's certain seasons and there's grace. And so, yeah, and I love that, just infusing more joy and creativity into our lives, and whatever that is. Like I showed you, I'm going to do a coloring calendar for the new year, whatever, right? I'm going to make my own bullet journal, whatever those things are. Like,
shameless plug for Power Sheets.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Mm-hmm. Calendar. Boom.
That looks awesome.
Hopefully in the new year, I'll show you again and it's colored.
Yeah, it'll be all colorful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, whatever it may be, just really encourage people to do that. And their life is supposed to be healthy, thriving, joyful. So thank you everyone for joining us. And I'll just have us wrap up with just sharing our offers again to get some more support in these areas we've talked about and further. So for me, probably by the time this one's airing, my Whole30 program actually probably already started. But again, if you want to get support in that, the Whole30 Made Easy programs covers these 7 areas of physical health: nutrition, exercise, digestion, toxic load, stress, sleep, mindset, habit, and other areas. But also I am after kind of this month, I'm going to, again, go back to this holistic thing, focusing on one area at a time. So definitely check out my website. I'll be sure to link with that so you can get support in any of these areas that really suit you. And then sign up for the podcast updates so that way you can get that training on why it's more than about diet and exercise. That's it from me. Anything? What about you? What's going on?
Yes, 3 main things quickly. I have a Holistic Thyroid Foundations course that you can check out if you're new to holistic thyroid treatment, and just it's a self-paced course, so you can explore that on your own and get some resources to just I don't know, you can ways to communicate with your doctor, ways to find out what's really going on at the root of your thyroid issue. Yes, I'm so excited about that one. And then if you're wanting some one-on-one support to really dig into this, then I do a 30-day kind of kickstart package where we figure out what the root cause could be for you, and we design a plan moving forward to really correct that. We can do some lab work analysis with that, and just answer any of the questions that you have about how to design a plan for you. And then if you are someone who would like support from like the beginning to seeing symptoms really being reduced and eliminated, then I have a 90-day program for that. I find that that's usually the time frame when you really start seeing improvement. And so that is a really intensive thyroid relief program where I walk you through the whole thing. We do it together, and we design that around your lifestyle. So I would love to work with you or just talk with you. If you're not sure if you have thyroid disease, then I would love to just hop on the phone for a free 30-minute call and hear more about your story and decide together what maybe your next steps should be. So, yes.
So good. Yeah. And feel free to reach out to you guys. If anything I said, I have a discovery call you can talk about and see if it's a good fit. So thank you, Hannah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks so much for being here, guys. And definitely go to all the links throughout the last 5 parts and check out Hannah, all the things she's doing. Check out my links, and we'll probably do something like this soon again because we love it.
Of course.
So Thank you so much, everyone, and talk to you soon.